Sim says, the real purpose of this world is to use it to correct your unbelief. You can never control the effects of fear yourself because you made fear. And you believe in what you made. In attitude, then, though not in content, you resemble your Creator, who has perfect faith in His creations because He created them. Belief produces the acceptance of existence. That is why you believe what no one else thinks is true. It is true for you because it was made by you. Understand all of the myths, all of the fables, all of the religious interpretations of a literal, physical, carnal, fleshly Savior. All of the superstitions from your mama's house, all of your grandmother's home remedy kinks for life, all of them. You cherish them so much because you made them and you hold them as true. So when you are viewing your physical presentation, you find ways to confirm to yourself that what you see brings factual, tangible basis to what you believe. And what you believe is leading you to an experience filled with illusionary monsters that are draining you of your life source energy and attention. You spend all of your time fighting imaginary demons and imaginary ops, and you have no energy left to engage with your Creator, to recharge, to replenish yourself, to go and sit down and still your mind by the cool waters, to meditate and refresh yourself from all of the illusions and broken experiences that you have encountered along the way in the dark. In the Bible, right? In the story of Jesus in the flesh, He had disciples that walked with Him, and when they encountered things collectively, together, there always seemed to be two perspectives, two views. There was the views of the disciples, and then there was the views of Jesus. Hardly were these two views ever the same. Both the disciples and Jesus took the position of knowing. But the disciples relied on what they could observe with their eyes and what they could define from their past with the law. The character of Jesus, many times in the story, stole away into the quiet, broke away from the crowd to go and commune with His Father within, to meditate. And because of the difference in the management of their mental palettes, there was always a difference in the perspective as one entertained illusions and lies of separation and lack, lost and brokenness. And Jesus, in tune with Source from meditation, only saw what the Father saw, which was more life, more abundance. It's only right we deal with one of the prisons that we serve in life in until we realize the error of our ways and we begin to backtrack, not by effort and striving, because effort and striving is what got us locked in this prison in the first place. Nah, we undo the mess that we made with our broken paradigms and beliefs by sitting still in meditation, moving beyond thought for the first time ever, not leaning on our own understanding. So clearly, our emphasis, just like Asim says, is now on healing. The miracle is the means, the atonement is the principle, and the healing is the result. To speak of a miracle of healing is to combine two orders of reality inappropriately. Healing is not a miracle. The atonement, or the final miracle, is a remedy, and any type of healing is a result. The kind of error to which atonement is applied is irrelevant. All healing is essentially the release from fear. To undertake this, you cannot be fearful yourself. You do not understand healing because of your own fear. Remember, you made your fear. Your fear is not even real. Your fear is a miscreation, something that you made in the dark just by believing that it's real. Something that you were influenced by outside sources and intelligent people who drafted really, really popular books. Influenced by your own ignorance as you pondered in the dark what it would be like based on pictures of your past that you could recall. But you're not conscious that the pictures that you are looking at for the future come from the past. So when somebody tells you that that's what this is, you begin to argue and become combative and get defensive. Because you have the opinion that what you're looking at is a new picture and not an old one. But at some point, you should leave the prison of your opinions and partner with truth. Your opinion changes, just like your emotions. There definitely in our society today is an emphasis on healing. But do we know the process? Do we know that it is a miracle that we experience the atonement, and within the atonement, the gift of healing is released? And all the gift of healing is a full release from your fear, which is the product of perfect love being established in awareness on the inside of you, because it's always been there. A major step in the atonement, Asim says, is to undo error at all levels. Sickness or not right-mindedness is the result of level confusion, because it always entails the belief that what is amiss on one level can adversely affect another. We have referred to miracles as the means of correcting level confusion, for all mistakes must be corrected at the level on which they occur. It's common sense, right? Only the mind is capable of error. The body can act wrongly only when it is responding to misthought. You and I have been trying to get our bodies to do right. We've been trying to act right in the flesh, and it's right there in our words. You want to act right. Your interest really hasn't been on being right, like you were created. It's been on acting right, presenting yourself as right, being seen as right. Check it out. The body cannot create, and the belief that it can, a fundamental error, produces all physical symptoms. Physical illness represents a belief in magic. The whole distortion that made magic rests on the belief that there is a creative ability in matter which the mind cannot control. This error can take two forms. It can be believed that the mind can miscreate in the body, or that the body can miscreate in the mind. See, because everything takes place in the mind. So what is out there, man? What is out there beyond the prison of your opinions, the prison of your broken paradigms, the prison of your beliefs, the prison of your superstitions? What is out there beyond the cell block of what you think you know? I have said that the abilities you possess are only shadows of your real strength. You believe that? No, that's why you can't live by what you believe, because that's true. The abilities you possess are only shadows of your real strength. You are capable of mighty, wondrous things, and they are still only shadows of the true strength that you possess. And that perception, which is inherently judgmental, was introduced only after the separation. Since the separation, the words create and make have become confused. When you make something, you do so out of a specific sense of lack or need. Anything made for a specific purpose cannot be viewed in a general way. When you make something to fill a perceived lack, you are tactically implying that you believe in separation. The ego has invented so many ingenious thought systems for this purpose. None of them are creative. So again, you can argue with truth and hold on to your view, your opinion of what it is that you've been doing in your head that causes you to move how you move in the physical. Or you can partner with truth and you can correct what you think you know, because you be perceiving yourself to be operating out of love when you're trying to make something happen and you say, don't worry about it, I'm gonna make a way. I always make a way. Anything that you made is something that was designed because you have perceived lack and come up with a way to end it for yourself. Because in separation, the provision of a good creator supplying all things from within is not something that you believe. You should really move on from life by your beliefs. Check this out. Knowing, as we have already observed, does not lead to doing. We got that little stupid cliche that we say, you know better, you do better. I dare you to challenge that. How many times have you made a mistake and learned that what you did was not beneficial for you or the people around you, and then came back to that same situation and repeated the decision again? You know better, you do better. Sometimes. You know better, you do better when you want to. The confusion between your real creation and what you have made of yourself is so profound that it has become literally impossible for you to know anything. Knowledge is always stable, and it is quite evident that you are not. Knowledge is always stable. So if you were full of knowledge, then you would find yourself fully stable. But you be bouncing back and forth and bumping off of the walls when somebody else has a crisis. And when you have a crisis, you sink into the ocean and you start drowning, desperately kicking your legs and hoping that somebody saves you. A Sim says, nevertheless, you are perfectly stable as God created you. In this sense, when your behavior is unstable, you are disagreeing with God's idea of your creation. Told you, you'll go to war with God. You'll go to war with God. Will a man rob God? Yes. Yes. I taken the trees and the animals and doing all kind of weird stuff with it. Yes. I out harming men and women. Yes. Yes, men and women in their ignorance constantly attack God. You can do this if you choose, but you would hardly want to do this if you were in your right mind. Just that simple. The fundamental question you continually ask yourself cannot properly be directed to yourself at all. You keep asking what it is that you are. This implies that the answer is not only one you know, but it's also one that is up to you to supply. You think you can be whoever you want to be. You think you can choose to operate however you feel suits you. That's what you've been doing, and that's why you've been sad, and that's exactly why you've been fearful. So we looked at a sim. We looked at A Course in Miracles to give you some references of the fear that you made, the difference between what you made and what has been created. What has been created is for all. It's universal. It's something beneficial for the collective. What you made as you interpreted yourself inside of a crisis that you needed to save yourself from because you were separated from the collective. A not so popular scripture in the Bible is Matthew 5:48. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father, which is in heaven, is perfect. And he's like, man, how am I gonna be perfect? I ain't the Father. Well, heaven is within you. So the Father is in heaven, which is within you. So why wouldn't you be able to be perfect like the Father when the Father is one with you? Seems pretty simple to me. Unless you got some stuff in the way. Be ye perfect doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. Be ye perfect doesn't mean you don't fumble, fall short. Doesn't mean you don't get irritated, get angry sometimes. It has absolutely nothing to do with your flesh at all. Be ye therefore perfect is the submission of your flesh. It's the sacrificing of yourself by sitting and meditating and entering the divine state of mind that is above thinking, called the meditative state, where you are clear, you are made as white as snow. There are no fears, because perfect love has casted out all things. And when you sit down to meditate and you're taking off all that is familiar to you, who is it that is doing the casting from the inside of you other than I am, the genuine, true identity of you? There is no one elsewhere. There is no one up above pulling strings, helping you undo the mess that you made. It would be weird for God to be sitting in the clouds, willing to help you undo the mess that you made in an instant, after sitting idle for years, watching you create the mess on your own. Why not intervene? Please don't sit upstairs. Please, Father, don't sit upstairs while I ruin my life right below you. Especially when you can see all things and you know all things. Now it seems like you don't love me. Now it seems like you set me up. And now I feel like I can't trust you. But this feeling of distrust, this feeling that you are somehow deceitful and dishonest, all originated, in my opinion, in broken paradigms, in my interpretation of an experience that I was never called to explain or define. I am the student. The teacher is within. I am the follower. The Father within is my source, my rabbi, my master. It is not my job to see with my eyes and tell my master, my rabbi, my teacher what it is that I'm looking at. It's my job to submit everything in the physical and give up my right to decide and label things as I would like them to be, or as I would like to acknowledge them as. And I return to the Father for a clear explanation of truth, of what it is that is within my grasp, within my view, within my realm of experience. so that I may know, instead of guess and assume and theorize. We've done enough of that. And it's a prison that keeps us locked within ourselves, locked within our old experiences, locked within rejection. Because the things that are coming out of our mouth do not resonate as true and whole to the people that we are speaking to, because they are our own personal contradictions and hang-ups and strongholds, not the universal laws that abide within, that when encountered begin to resonate on the inside, and the connection of the presentation and the genuine truth within you laying dormant, it begins to stir things up. You know when you're in front of truth, or you should, because sometimes you get uncomfortable, sometimes you get anxious, sometimes you get confused because it goes against all of your views. But if you just sit and wait on the Father within, the teacher within, to unravel what it is that you were looking at, you'll have a much more peaceful journey down the road of knowledge and truth. Stop pretending you know. It's not becoming. I wake up every day and I study, I read, I listen, I watch, I go to bed doing more of the same. And every day I learn deeper and deeper that of how little I know. And when we're talking about true knowledge, we are talking about knowing or realizing to the point of application. Anything that you have not applied, you do not know. It's just something that you're familiar with, and something that you can repeat, and something that you can profess. It's easy to talk about love, but can you live it when love isn't being reciprocated?